Alright. Let's start with our additional material for BAPE7, Accounting for Business Combination, Consolidation of Financial Statements or Consolidated Financial Statements, Part 3. So, ito, di ba, yung Conso Part 3 and Part 4 natin, ginawa na natin, yung Quizignment for that, ginawa na nating bonus. But anyways, ito yung discussion for their answers. So, let's go with problem number 1. So, problem number 1, multiple choice theory. So, number 1, if the NCI is measured at proportionate share, so ayan, sa starting pa lang ng discussion natin for business combination and consolidation, nasabi na natin to, di ba? Pag proportionate share, yung method, walang, tawag dito, partial goodwill lang yung nangyayari, di ba? Hindi full goodwill. So, pag partial goodwill lang ang nangyayari, ang may share lang sa goodwill is yung parent. Kapag total or full goodwill, both the NCI and the parent, so yun, may nag-chat, and the NCI, meron silang share ng goodwill based on their, yung sa pag-compute natin. So, in this case, saan dito yun? So, the answer is going to be letter B. There is no goodwill attributable to the NCI because proportionate share, di ba? Yung table natin, pinakita natin doon yung ano yung logical reasoning. So, the answer is letter B. Partial goodwill lang to, si parent lang may share. Number 2, which the following statements is correct. So, conso begins when control is obtained and ceases when control is lost. Ito, na-explain natin to. Ito, mali. Consolidation begins, so letter A ang answer. Magko-consolidate ka lang kung kailan na-obtain yung control, and that's usually the acquisition date, and when the control ceases. So, hindi na siya under PFRS 3, di ba? PFRS 10. So, baka naging investment ng associate na lang siya, or biglang naging joint venture, or baka simple PFRS 9 na lang, di ba? Under fair value. So, the answer is letter A. So, number 3, if the parent ownership interest in the subsidiary, if the parent's ownership interest in a subsidiary changes but control is not lost, so as explained dun sa lecture video natin, accounted lang under equity transaction. Number 4, when a parent loses control over a subsidiary, the parent shall, so nung mangyayari, di ba, wala nang control, letter A ang answer dyan. They recognize the net identifiable asset of the former subsidiary from the consolidated financial statements, and it shall recognize the gain or loss associated with the loss of control attributable to the former controlling interest. Diba, napakita natin sa table, yung sa lecture video, ano yung magawin kung magkakaroon reclassification to or hindi magkakaroon, yung, diba, yung first 3 sa equity mapupunta, yung next 2 sa profit or loss. Number 5 tayo. So, when a parent-subsidiary relationship exists, consolidated financial statements are prepared in recognition of the accounting concept of what? It is economic entity because, well, the parent-subsidiary is treated, pagdating sa consolidation, they are treated as a single economic entity, di ba? Kaya kailangan i-consolidate yung kanilang financial statement. So, let's go to problem number 3, exercises. Mag-exercise tayo tuwing umaga. So, to, di ba, ang consolidation part is basically, basically miscellaneous topics lang to. And with that said, yung pagdating sa board exam, the main bulk of the discussion or yung pupuntiryahin ng examiner is yung intercompany transaction, kasi yun yung topic under business combination and consolidation finance, PFRS 10, PFRS 10. Yun yung topic na mapapaisip ka talaga, mapapa-analyze ka talaga, mga fair value adjustment, anong effect nila, di ba? Mga unrealized gains, unrealized profits, etc., etc. So, itong mga miscellaneous topics, yes, these are important, pero pagdating sa board exam, ang priority ng examiner is usually yung intercompany transactions, kasi yun yung, let's say, nakakahilo, mapapa-analyze ka talaga. So, going to problems number 3, exercises on January 1, 20x1, Dayco acquired 75% interest in Nightco for 216,000 pesos. So, ito yung binayad niya. 216 for 75% interest. So may 25% tayong NCI. So on this date, the carrying amount of net identifiable asset was 192,000 equal to its fair value. So wala tayong fair value adjustment dito kasi pareho eh. Yung carrying amount sa fair value. So NCI, non-controlling interest was measured at fair value of 72,000 pesos. So more or less you will expect na total goodwill to, na may share ng goodwill si parent, may share rin ng goodwill si NCI. So the financial statements of the entities on December 31, 20X1 show the following information. So alam nyo to, fair value carrying amount, same lang. So investment subsidiary at cost, so alam yung mangyari dito, eliminate natin mamaya, di ba? So ito kay Dayco, si parent, Nightco, the subsidiary. So yun, etc. etc. Additional information, no dividends were declared by the entity during 20X1, by either entity during 20X1, and walang intercompany transaction. So wala yan. So anong pupuntiryahin sa atin dito? However, it was determined that at year-end, the goodwill is impaired by 8,000 pesos. So yun. Prepare a draft of the December 31, 20X1 consolidated statement of financial position and consolidated statement of profit or loss. So with that said, alam niyo na, gagawin natin yung mga steps dito. Diba? So ito, exercise number 3, step 1, analysis of effects ng intercompany transaction. However, wala tayong intercompany transaction as stated sa problem. So let's go to step 2, the analysis of the net assets. So as you can see here, acquisition date, yung carrying amount ng net asset natin, yeah, 192,000. Sa consolidation date, it is 252,000 na, yeah, kay subsidiary. Then wala tayong fair value adjustment kasi nga yung carrying amount ng net asset natin is equal to its fair value, yung 192,000. Subsequent depreciation of fair value adjustment, wala rin. And unrealized profits for upstream transaction, wala rin kasi wala tayong intercompany transaction. So the subsidiary's net asset at fair value, yung kanyang FBNA, acquisition date 192, consolidation date 252, di ba? Simplification of the problem. So net change natin is nag-increase ng 60,000. Ngayon, let's go to the goodwill computation. So, no, simple lang. Or you can also make the table ng tinuro natin, di ba? Paulit-ulit lang, repetition talaga dito. Because, ito na, ilang beses ko ito sinabi sa mga lecture videos natin, sa mga additional materials, business combination, consolidation of financial statements, kahit hindi mo gets yung logical reasoning niya, hindi mo siya masyado maintindihan, as long as you will follow the procedural requirements, di ba? Kasi very procedural talaga yan eh. Makaka-answer ka pa rin. Kasi nga, very procedural. Kung memorize mo lang paano ginawa yung procedure, ma-answer mo yan. Pero of course, mas better pa rin na maintindihan mo yung concept, di ba? So yun. Goodwill computation, yung consideration transferred, yung 216 for 75% interest, di ba? Wala tayong previously held in equity interest, so total is 216. Then yung proportionate share niya sa net asset ni subsidiary, di ba? Yung 192,000, 75% sa kanya, so 144. With that said, the goodwill attributable to owners of parents is, as of the acquisition date yan, 72,000 pesos. Then, you can also make the table, di ba? Pareho lang lalabas yan. Now, di ba sabi dito, merong 8,000 pesos na impairment sa goodwill. And since this is a total or full goodwill, di ba? So, may share si parent, may share si NCI. O in this case, yung 8,000, 75% kay parent, yeah, 6,000 impairment. So, goodwill, net goodwill attributable to the parents as of the consolidation date, as of December 31, 20X1 is 66,000. Doing the same thing with the NCI, 72,000 yung kanyang fair value ng NCI, yeah? To, given, non-controlling interest was measured at fair value. Then, yung proportionate share niya sa net asset ni subsidiary, so 192,000 times 25% NCI. So, may goodwill siya as of the acquisition date, 24,000. Then, yung share niya sa impairment, 25% kasi nga full or total goodwill to. So, goodwill attributable to the NCI as of the consolidation date, December 31, 20X1 is 22,000. Yan yung net for the NCI. So, add mo yun sila, 66 plus 22, then goodwill net for the total is 88,000. Going to step number 4, non-controlling interest in the net assets. Do very procedural. Ilang beses ito ginawa natin sa lecture video and the additional material. So, net asset at fair value, as of December 31, 2020, X1, 252, di ba? To multiply by the NCI percentage, 65%, total 63. Then yung goodwill to the NCI, net of accumulated impairment loss. So that's 22,000 galing dito, di ba? So NCI natin in net assets as of the consolidation date, 85,000. So consolidated retained earnings natin, same rin yung procedure, di ba? The parents, si Days retained earnings as of December 30 X1, provided naman dito 130,000. Then share na sa net changes ni sa Knight's net assets 45,000. Paano kinompute ito sa baba? Yung 60,000 to 75%. Ito yung nag-increase, di ba? So yung share dyan ni parent 75%. Kaya that is 45,000. So, amortized gains, downstream, gain or loss on extinguishment fund, wala nangyari. Impairment loss on goodwill, 6,000. Diba? Kasi 8,000, 75% share niya. So, 6,000. So, and at consolidation adjustments, 39. So, 171. Diba? Very procedural. Ito naman, consolidated profit or loss. Diba? Profits before adjustment, 288, 60. 348, wala tayong mga, diba? Consolidation adjustments kasi walang declaration of dividends. Walang fair value adjustments, walang intercompany transactions, so net consolidated adjustments, wala. Profits before the fair value adjustments, wala rin, di ba? Pero meron tayong impairment loss on goodwill. 6,000, 2,000, for total 8,000. So, consolidated profit nila, 282, 58, and 340 for the total. Profit or loss naman, attributable to owners of the parents. Di ba? Ito na yung hati sila. 288, sa NCI wala. Kasi nga, yung profit ni parent para sa kanya lang. Pero yung profit ng subsidiary, hati sila ni NCI. So, 45.15. Wala tayong depreciation of FBA. Meron tayong impairment loss sa goodwill. So, yan. Total. 327, 13, and 340. Then, yung requirement D. May requirement D ba? Anyways, ito yung consolidated. Yung assets, diba? I-consolidate mo na. Yung investment subsidiary, eliminate mo yan. Other assets, add mo. Diba? 720 plus 282. Goodwill net step 2 yung 88,000, yeah? Yung ito, goodwill. Then liabilities mo combine yung 84 and 30, share capital kay parent lang 720. Retained earnings, yung kinompute natin dito sa taas 171, di ba? Ito, consolidated retained earnings kasi nga we're doing consolidation here. So, equity attributable to, equity attributable to owners of the parent, then yung non-controlling interest, di ba? Sabi natin, pinipresent yan, sinasama yan sa consolidation, di ba? Sa consolidated FS. So, 85,000, what was provided in step 4. Ito, ba? Ba, na-explain na yan. Kaya nga miscellaneous lang si consolidation part 3, di ba? So, ito, etc. Consolidated profit. Same lang. Yeah, ganun. So anyways, that is for problem 3 exercises. Yeah? Ginawa natin last time pa. Additional materials lang to. So let's go to problem 4, multiple choice computational. So dito, number 1. So selected from the selected information from the separate and consolidated balance sheet and income statements of Pare Incorporated and its subsidiary Shellco as of December 31, 1994 and for the year then ended is as follows. So ito, kay Pare, si parent, si Shell, si subsidiary, consolidated nila. Accounts receivable, inventory, income statements nila, revenue, COGS, and gross profit. So during 1994, Pare sold goods to Shell at the same markup on costs that Pare uses for all sales. At December 31, 1994, what was the amount of Shell's payable to Pare for intercompany sales? So you can just use the di ba? Yung accounts receivable of parent 52,000. Kasi nga nagkaroon ng sale of goods, di ba? Accounts receivable of subsidiary, 38,000. Consolidated receivable mo is 78. So, ang tanong, what was the amount of sales payable to Pare for intercompany sales? Di ba? Kapag payable kay Shell, kay Pare, receivable yan. Di ba? Kay Pare, receivable yan. Kung kay Shell, that's a payable, di ba? Opposite lang yan. So, paano malalaman kung magkano yung receivable na yun? Di ba? I-squeeze mo. Ano yung intercompany? Di ba? Ano yung intercompany? So, in this case, the consolidated receivable, di ba? Given naman eh. So, ano yung intercompany dyan? 12,000. Letter B. Di ba? Kasi kung ano yung payable dito, receivable kay pare. So, number 2. Rightco has several subsidiaries that are included in its consolidated FS. So, in its December 31, 1992 trial balance, Wright had the following intercompany balances before elimination. So, current receivable due from Mainco, debit non-current receivable from Mainco. So, ito yung mga subsidiaries niya, si Mainco. Cash advance from Cornco, subsidiary na rin. Cash advance from Kingco. Cash advance to Cornco, so debit. Cash advance from Kingco. Credit 15K, intercompany payable to King. So, ang tanong dito, in its December 31, 1992 consolidated balance sheet, what amount should Wright report? Wright being the parent, report as intercompany receivables. The answer would be letter B. Letter D. Why? Because that's intercompany receivables and we're talking about the consolidation. So, that will be eliminated, di ba? Ma-eliminate yan, tatanggalin yan. Hence, the answer is letter D. Kasi anong ipapakita mo sa iyong consolidation in regards to intercompany receivables? Zero. Because those intercompany transactions are to be eliminated. Because the entity is already being treated, is going to be treated as a single economic entity. Di ba? So, let's go to number 3. At December 31, 1989, Gray Incorporated owned 90% of WinCorp. So, Gray, parent, WinCorp as the subsidiary. And, ito pa, 20% of CarCorp, an investee in which Gray cannot exercise significant influence. So, yun. Meaning yan, typical fair value, di ba? PFRS 9. On the same date, Gray had receivables of 300,000 from Win, being its consolidated subsidiary, and 200,000 from Car, di ba? Cannot exercise significant influence, so PFRS 9. So, in its December 31, 1989 consolidated balance sheet, Gray should report accounts receivable from affiliates in the amount of what? The answer would be letter D, 200,000. Bakit? Kasi itong 300,000 from WinCorp, consolidate, subsidiary yan niya eh. Subsidiary niya yan. So, bakit niya yan i-report? Diba? They are treated as a single entity. Ngayon, ito naman kay 200,000 from Car, and that's under PFRS 9. So, that's an accounts receivable from affiliates. I-report niya pa rin yan. Hindi yan ma-eliminate sa consolidation. Because the ownership over this is not treated under PFRS 3, PFRS 10. That's just a simple investment under PFRS 9. So, going to number 4. CORDCO owns 4 corporations. So, consolidated financial statements are being prepared for these corporations which have intercompany loans of 200,000 and intercompany profits of 500K. So, what amount of these intercompany loans and profits should be included in the consolidated financial statements? The answer would be letter C. Gaya natin sabi ulit, pagdating sa consolidation, yung mga intercompany na yan, eliminated. So, let's go to number 5. Number 5. Sun Incorporated is a wholly owned subsidiary of Patton Incorporated. On June 1, 1993, Patton declared and paid a 1 peso per share cash dividends to stockholders of record on May 15, 1993. So, on May 1, 1993, Sun bought 10,000 shares of Patton common stock for 700,000 pesos on the open market when the book value per share was 30 pesos. So, what amount of gain should Patton report from this transaction in its consolidated income statement for the year ended December 31, 1993? The answer would be letter A. Di ba? The purchase by a member of a consolidated group of stock of another member of the consolidated group is treated as a treasury stock. Kasi nga, they're already treated as a single entity. So, being treated as a single entity, buying stock on that same entity, di ba? Parang binili mo lang ulit yung treasury parang binili mo lang ulit yung treasury stock. Parang binili mo lang ulit nirepurchase mo lang ulit yung share of that entity, di ba? From one packet to another. That is treated when it comes to the purview, when it comes to the point of view of consolidation, treasury stock na yan kasi binili mo ulit yung shares mo. Diba? Ganun naman ang treasury stock eh. Repurchasing your own shares. And in this case, since this is consolidation, you are treated as a single entity. Parang binili mo lang ulit yung sarili mong shares. Hence, treasury stock. Hence, letter A ang answer dyan. Wala kang i-report na gain. So, going to the next, use the following information for the next 5 questions. Si Oblong ko owns 80% interest in Round Incorporated. So, the statement of a financial position of the entities on January 1, 20X1 are shown below. So, ito kay Oblong ko, Round Incorporated, the subsidiary and consolidation nila. So, take note of this, investment subsidiary, other assets, goodwill, as of consolidation, total, accounts payable nila. Take note of this, yung mga differences nila. Share capital, retained earnings, equity attributable to the owners of parent, 847. Ito naman sa NCI. Total equity, then total liabilities and equity. Ito. So, number 6. So, on January 1, 20X2, Oblong acquired the remaining 20%. Kasi nga, 80% yun. So, the remaining 20%, in-acquire niya daw interest in Roundco for a consideration of 80,000. So, how much is the gain or loss on the acquisition to be recognized in the consolidated financial statements? The answer would be letter D, 0. 0 yan. Bakit? In the point of view of consolidation, parang binili mo lang ulit yung sarili mo eh. Kasi, you have total control na eh. So, nag-additional control ka, binili mo lang ulit basically yung sarili mo. Di ba? So, wala kang i-report na gain dyan. Kasi binili mo lang ulit yung sarili mo eh. May total control ka na eh. Di ba? Treated na kayo as a single entity in the point of view of consolidation. So, by buying an additional portion of yourself, there's no point in recognizing a gain or loss because binili mo lang ang sarili mo ulit. Ganon yung logic dyan. So, the answer is letter D, 0. Going to number 2, on January 1, 20X2. Number 7, on January 1, 20X2, Oblong ko acquired the remaining 20% ulit. Pero ang interest na dito, ang consideration na dito is 100K. So, the NCI were measured using the proportionate share method. So, proportionate share method, alam niyo ng partial goodwill lang yan. Si parent lang yung may goodwill. So, how much is the non-controlling interest in the net assets of the acquiree in the consolidated financial statements prepared immediately after the acquisition? The answer would be letter D. Wala na. Diba? Wala na. Binili niya na lahat eh. Proportionate method, wala na, 0. Number 8. On January 1, 20X2, Oblong ko acquired additional 10% interest. So, ito, from being 80%, naging 90% ownership. So, ang natitira sa NCI is 10% na lang. For ang consideration is 100,000. So, the NCI were measured using the proportionate share method. So, how much is the non-controlling interest in the net assets of the acquiree in the consolidated FS prepared immediately after this 10% acquisition? So, yun. So, magkano ang net assets ni XYZ? Or ni XYZ ni tawag ito ni Roundco, di ba? Si Roundco yun, no? Uy, saan to, no? Uy, nag-back siya. Diba? Oblong ko, Roundco. So, ang tanong, how much is the NCI interest in the net assets of the acquiree in the consolidated FS prepared immediately after the acquisition? So, ang hanapin mo, Oblong ko dapat to. Yeah? Round ko dapat to, si Round. So, yun. Tawag ito. Ano yung net assets niya? Ano yung net assets niya? Diba? Hindi given sa problem. Ano yung net... Bakit to? Mali na. Pipindot natin. Instead na go back tayo sa picture, nagbaback. Dito tayo na sa present ano. Diba? Wala given. Pero mahanap natin yan. Kasi nga, diba sabi ko kanina, be mindful about the differences between the here, and the consolidation. Kasi from that differences, you will infer, diba? Ano yung mga additional amounts. In this case, itong 240 na net assets, di ba yung FVNA natin, makukuha mo yun from the consolidation as provided here sa baba, di ba? The fair value of round cost net assets on January 20X1 is computed as follows. So, ito yung kay oblong ko, di ba? 180, wala na yan, eliminate yan. Ito naman yung other assets nila, 823, 297, then yung consolidated is 1135. So, ito, 823, yeah? Tag dito, 823, 200. Yan yung other assets ni parent. Then, yung kay round ko, 297, 600. So, kung i-compare mo yan sa consolidated, 823 minus 1135 or 1,135,200, the fair value of the net assets is 312,000. Not this because carrying amount lang yan, yung fair value is 312,000. Diba? Pero, assets pa lang yan. Hanapin mo yung sa liability. Diba? 17, 200, minus 247, 200, that is 72,000. So, that is the fair value of the liabilities. Diba? Or identifiable liabilities. So, minus 1, 312 minus 72,000, it's 240,000, the fair value of the net assets. Kasi ito, para sa assets lang, ito, sa liabilities. So, yung ano nila, 240,000, yung FVNA natin. So, 240,000. And since, ang sabi ng problem, it is proportionate method. Diba? Proportionate share method. So, alam mo na. 80% kay owners. 20% kay subsidiary. Kay NCI. Diba? That's 48,000. Ngayon, after the transaction, after the additional 10%, so magbabago na yan. 90% na kay parent, 216,000, 10% kay NCI. Kasi nga, 10% na natitira sa kanya, so that's 24,000. So the changes, diba? 24,000 increase kay parent, 24,000 decrease kay NCI. So, net. So, ang sagot is letter A, 24,000. How much is the non-controlling interest in the net assets of the acquiree? So, 24,000 na lang. Yeah? So, let's go to, diba, basic na lang to kasi itong miscellaneous, basic na lang to siya. Additional, diba? Additional materials na lang. So, on January 1, 2020X2, let's go to number 9. Oblong ko acquired 10% interest for 100,000. So, same sheet. Yeah? Same thing. Same sheet. So, 10,000 at 10% for 100,000. Consideration. Ngayon dito naman, NCI measure that proportion share method. Ang tanong, sa retained earnings na. How much is the consolidated retained earnings immediately after the acquisition? So, ito yung ito yung tawag ito. Ito yung journal entry, di ba? Investment subsidiary for the additional acquisition, cash in bank, credit, investment subsidiary at 100,000. Ito naman sa baba, yeah? NCI mo nag-decrease by 24,000 kasi nga ni-record mo yun, di ba, sa separate from the equity of the owners, ni-record mo yun siya sa iyong Conso FS. So 24,000 decrease kasi nagkaroon ka ng increase, di ba? Investment subsidiary mo decrease of 100,000. So squeeze mo retained earnings 76,000, di ba? So consolidated retained earnings before the additional acquisition as stated here, 283, 200. Then, decrease in retained earnings in the amount of 76,000. That's a consolidated retained earnings for additional acquisition, 207,200 na lang. Letter C. And going to number 10, yeah, madali na lang to. On January 1, 20X2, oblong ko sold 60%. Out of its 80% interest in round ko for a consideration of 120,000. So, ano nangyari dito? Nagkaroon ng derecognition, di ba? Wala nang control. Hindi na magko-consolidation. Hindi na PFRS 3, PFRS 10 ang gagamitin dito. But the sale resulted to a loss of control. So, the remaining interest is classified as held for trading. So, alam niya, PFRS 9 ang gagamitin dito. So, the recognition, di ba? How much is the gain or loss on the sale? So, the fair value of the rounds net identifiable asset is computed as follows. So, investment subsidiary eliminated. Ito, same sa natin kanina, 312, di ba? 70,000. So, net assets natin to is, FVNA natin is 240,000. So, ito yung two ways. Either gawin mo yung journal entry or itong formula. So, cash mo na receive, consideration, 120,000. Accounts payable mo, di ba? 72,000. Diba? Di-recognize mo na eh. Wala ka ng control, diba? Di-recognize na. So, non-controlling interest mo, yung 48,000 recorded, diba? Wala na rin. Di-recognize mo na. Other assets mo na 212,000. Di-recognize mo na rin. Yung goodwill, di-recognize na rin. 70,000. So, to. Ngayon, yung ano mo, held for tradings mo, diba? Pambing control, wala na. So, anong gagawin mo? PFRS 9 recording mo. So, 120,000 divided by 60% times 20%, that's 40,000 held for trading securities. No, bakit ganyan ang ginawa mo? Kasi kung ano mo to, round up mo to, di ba? 120,000 divided by 60%, it will pertain na yung total value, di ba? Is 200,000, di ba? Yung fair value. And you're buying or you're selling it for 120,000 for the 60%. So, kung yung total value niya is 200,000, then makakakuha ka pa ng remaining of 20%. So, 40,000 yung fair value niyan. Kaya 40,000 yung i-record mo. So, ulitin ko lang. Kaya ito ganito, 120,000 divided by the 60% kasi you're assuming that the value of the shares, di ba? The value of the total equity para sa 60% is 120,000. So, para malaman mo yung total value, round up mo, 120,000 divided by 60%. So, the total value of the ownership over the investee is 200,000. So, with that said, since remaining interest mo na lang is 20%, tapos i-account mo siya sell for trading under PFRS 9, yeah? So, yung 20% na yun, yung value niya is 40,000. So, that is the reason. So, loss on disposal natin is 39,200. Or you can do this sa baba, consideration received 120,000, investment retained in the former subsidiary, di ba? Fair value, gaya ng ginawa natin dito. Then, yung NCI natin, carrying amount, si consolidated, yung 48,000. So, yung total is 208. Rounds, net identifiable asset, si computation above, yung 240, di ba? Goodwill natin, 7,200. So, gain or loss on disposal of controlling interest, di ba? Nagka-loss ka pa, 39,200 yung iyong loss. So, that is letter B. So, that is all. Miscellaneous topics. For Conso Part 4, since additional material na lang yan, pag-isipan ko pa kung gagawan ko yun ng additional material because that is very lengthy. And, di naman siya ganun ka-importante. Basta alam nyo yung concepts about that. With that said, that ends our additional material for Conso Part 3. That is all. Bye-bye. Love you.